gon' respect it, cause this is West Texas.
Well, the last time we saw the Wahawks, they were crashing Mason's season opener in week 1, 47-7. On Friday night, they not only scored some state baseball championship bling, but pulled off one heck of a comeback against one of the best private school programs in Texas, Midland Christian. Coming up, we have your Chip Cole highlights, how the Hawks managed to pull this one out, in our post-game reaction with head coach Houston Guy and his team. My thoughts on what's currently separating the Hawks from the best in Class 3A. You want to stay tuned for that. Plus, our Bug Express sounds of the game. First things first, how about those highlights? To the action, Mason Fuchs and the Wahawks back at home for the first time this season, taking on the Midland Christian Mustangs. The Hawks 2-1 all time against the private school program entering Friday night. First quarter, no score, but not for long. Check out number 51, Josh Balcom. Not only part of the stop in the backfield, but coming up with the grip and rip. You gotta love when a D lineman is off to the races. Brought down just shy of the goal line, 5-1. Give us the goods on the play.
Ran in, and I saw the number 6 have the ball, and he was still up, so I decided to strip it. I ran as fast as I can to the end zone.
Ensuing Hawks drive, the senior QB1 Mason Fuchs sneaks it in for 6. Extra point good, 7-0 kids from the Concho Valley. But a stalemate it was for the rest of the first quarter and most of the second until now. The Stangs moving the ball here, but how about my man Colton Diebich laying the wood? What a hit. But Midland Christian says no worries. Few plays later, they give it to Rhett Clark, who dances his way into the end zone. Very next play, the Stangs going for 2. Ryber Rodriguez off the quarterback keeper, and he dives for the pylon. 2-point conversion good. Midland Christian up 8-7. Later in the half, Mustangs with the rock. And I tell you, that Craig Slaughter defense is something else. James 4 with a monster hit here. But of course, Midland Christian would have an answer. Ryber Rodriguez off the keeper, making his way inside the wall 5-yard line. It would eventually set up Rhett Clark to waltz into the end zone with under 20 ticks left in the half. Mustangs head to the break up 14-7. Opening kickoff of the third quarter, Midland Christian going for the onside kick. A little risky here. Looks like they got it, but the refs say, well, the Stangs got there too soon. Next wall drive, Hawks working with great field position. Handoff to Chase Rios, and this dude is breaking it for the 28-yard touchdown, and this game is tied at 14. Ensuing Mustangs drive. Midland Christian facing a 4th and 7 and letting it rip here. But watch Travis Rodriguez coming up with a clutch play to bat it down, keeping the Stangs off the board. Next Hawks drive, Chase Rios had a big run for a touchdown in the previous drive and apparently was not done yet. They give it to number 5, and he's breaking it off for a nice 59-yard run to the Midland Christian 1-yard line. QB1 would cap it off, sneaking it in for the touchdown. Extra point try no good. Wall with the 20-14 advantage. Fourth quarter now. Hawks driving, pitch out to Grady McCray, the little engine that could. He looks like he's on his way to pay dirt, but, well, the refs say he stepped out of bounds. 2 plays later, the Hawks really knocking on the door now, but the Midland Christian defense comes up with a clutch play of their own to jar the ball loose and recover the rock. But the Mustangs would have one last chance in the final moments of the game, looking deep, but it's Bryson Ballard coming up with the Oski ball game. Let's check the Texas Bank scoreboard. Wall survives this one, beating Midland Christian 20-14. And I tell you what, props to the offense with the big plays, but hats off to the Hawks defense for staying woke and pitching out the shutout in the second half. How this one was won was the talk after the game. Plus, how about my man Chase Rios and those clutch runs?
You know, they beat us everywhere. You know, everywhere offensively that they could beat us, they beat us. You know, came in and really just talked about settling down and doing our job offensively in the second half. We really didn't change anything. Just talked about sustaining our blocks. You know, staying a little bit lower on the line of scrimmage, holding those blocks a little bit longer so our running backs could get by. It opened up a little bit better the second half. We still didn't sustain drives like I was hoping we would. You know, there was late in the fourth quarter, I felt like we should have sustained drives and finished the 2 drives at the end.
I saw a little hole. I hit it real fast, and then it just opened up, and it was just open field. I mean, we knew we had that linebacker scraping over. I mean, we had that coming out of halftime, and knew that guard come over. He's going to pull. He's going to make a giant hole, and Chase is a great running back. he's fast. I mean, took it to the house.
Those guys have been playing lights out all year long. You know, those guys are fast, aggressive up front. You know, very athletic defensively. Those guys are quick. You know, they take a lot of pride in what they do. You know, they're quick to the football. They're aggressive on the line of scrimmage. They're aggressive in the secondary. They challenge every ball that's in the air. But we got to go to work. We got to fix that line of scrimmage. You know, we got to work on our offensive line. We got to get better. You know, whether it's staying lower, sustaining blocks, keeping that line of scrimmage sustained, and doing a better job of holding our blocks.
Well, it's time for a Newland ERA and Company play of the game. The Hawks defense was as clutch as ever, pitching a shutout in the second half on the night the baseball kids scored state championship rings. Our play of the game goes to junior Bryson Ballard in snagging this interception late in the fourth quarter to end any thought of a Midland Christian comeback. Gotta love what this Craig Slaughter defense is up to in 2019. Ballard's Oski is good for this week's Newland ERA and Company play of the game. Well, for the second straight week, the Wallhawks showed us some serious resilience. Defensive coordinator Craig Slaughter is no doubt one hell of a defensive mind, but it's the way the Wall kids are responding to adversity this early on in the season. I believe the age-old saying goes, offense puts butts in the seats, but it's defense that wins championships. In 3 weeks, well, no team has been able to put up more than 2 scores on the Hawks. Then you pair that with this team's ability to stare adversity in the eye to pull out wins. Given we're only headed into week 4 and nobody is exactly playing for a state title yet, but if this is what we have to expect from the Hawks when the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds of the playoffs roll around, my money is on the Hawks. Well, you gotta love what the kids from the east side of Tom Green County are up to, especially after 3 weeks of the Texas high school football season. But I tell you what, the non-district challenge is far from over for the Hawks as they'll get a one-time district rival Sonora on Friday night out in Wall. Should be a good one. But before we leave you tonight, we can't say goodbye without showing some love to the fans and that awesome Wallhawk band in our Sounds of the Game presented by Bug Express. Well, for San Angelo Live in Cover 1, I'm Manny Diaz. We'll see you next time.
This is first time to shine in front of the home crowd. Okay? Make sure your mind is right, keep your focus, but first and foremost, get after their tails. Have a fun tonight. Hawks on 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's go, fellas.
Go, Hawks, go! Go, Hawks, go!